Thank you very much, and hello again. My name's Peter White. I am the Deputy Editor of Television Business International, but as I'm sure we're all aware, we're not here to see me. We have some fantastic guests with us today. As you can see here, we have supermodel Elle Macpherson, so very excited to be here, and flanked by Chris Grant and Ben Silverman, both from Electus. So we're here to talk about Fashion Star. An exciting new show that developed by Electus and Ben and Chris and exec produced and hosted by Elle. So perhaps we can just start, I guess, to Ben perhaps, and then we can bring Elle in. Tell us about the show. Tell us about how it came about. Tell us where it started and how we got here today.
Well, we brought a really cool idea in the world of shopping, informed by what technology is allowing in terms of the two-way communication that is now possible because of broadband delivery. And we wanted to come up with a big tent, accessible, massive formatted entertainment show. And as the idea came in, we were working it and starting to develop it, I immediately thought of Elle, who I knew, to come collaborate with us to help bring her incredible experience being, one of the, fashion icons, but also somebody who really lived and breathed and understood the fashion world, to come develop it and work with us. And she was a fantastic and willing partner. I don't know if you want to talk further.
Yeah, how did you get involved? So Ben called you and said, hey, let's work together.
Well, I'd been wanting to play in the television space for a while, to create a program that was as much about selling fashion, because my business, having 20 years in making a lingerie business, I understood that selling clothes was just as important as designing clothes. And we've seen a lot of programs that are about how to make a dress or how to make clothes, but we haven't seen very many programs about how to sell. And so when Ben spoke to me about this idea, I was so excited. I just felt that it was new, it was innovative, it was interesting, and I think we've made a big, glossy, fun, and that's the most important program.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the show itself. Obviously, as you say there, it's slightly different to shows that have come before, in the sense that the dresses that you see on that are being made are available to buy.
Do we have the clip to show?
Yes. Do you want to play it now? Let's have a...
Yeah, why don't we show the clip to the audience, and then we can talk through it.
Yeah.
I just always wanted to say, do we have a clip?
It's big, it's beautiful, it's sexy. This has never been done before.
It's their life on the line and their careers on the line.
14 designers, 1 winner.
Tonight, an epic journey begins.
I don't want to find the next great designer. I want to find the next great fashion icon.
The search for a fashion star.
I live, sleep, eat, breathe this thing called fashion.
I'm supposed to be here.
And for the first time ever, America's favorite retailers will fight it out for the hottest designs.
Macy's, Saks Fifth Avenue, H&M, any offers on the table for Luciano?
It takes a lifetime to get into a room with people like this.
And here's the twist. Everything bought on the show, you can buy at the end of the night.
That is amazing.
You can wear the winner the next day.
I love the sequin and I would wear it right now.
Mentoring these designers are 3 of the very best. Billionaire fashion brand Jessica Simpson.
I was thinking about white, too. I think white's harder to sell.
Trendsetter with 2 global brands, Nicole Richie.
You can't just be an artist. At a certain point, you have to be a businesswoman as well.
Former head designer for Calvin Klein and Ralph Lauren with his own internationally renowned label, John Varvatos.
You can be a wannabe, or you can be an about to be.
And your host, Elle Macpherson, the iconic supermodel with a multi-million-dollar lingerie line. With these mentors, the designers have everything they need to succeed. And in the end, the winner will have their very own collection sitting on the shelves of all 3 stores. It's a contract worth $6 million.
It is the big daddy of all big daddies. None of us sitting up there as mentors are in all 3 of those stores.
Taryn, would you like to change your offer at all?
I'll up it.
I've been waiting for this opportunity for so long.
From the runway to your closet. Watch it today and wear it tomorrow.
Come on, let's go shopping.
This is Fashion Star.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I know, it's very cool. So, thank you. Thank you. So, I mean, the show really is about giving these 14 designers the opportunity of a lifetime to have a career made. And unlike other shows we've seen, where the buyers, or are the judges in this case, have their own businesses on the line. The decisions they were making were with real money and real corporate authority behind them and real risk. You know, every day after the show or in the morning, we hear from those buyers about whether the decisions they made were the right ones or the wrong ones. And if you think Simon Cowell's got a point of view, wait till you meet Terrence Schaefer from Saks Fifth Avenue. He is as tough a guy and as sharp-witted and focused, but he really is the head buyer for Saks Fifth Avenue. And I think one of the things that we're seeing across cable television and emerging in broadcasting, you've seen it in shows like, you know, Dragon's Den and some others, is that people are really interested in real world dynamics. I think more and more, it's the same way in our business, everyone on the street, my mom knows the ratings of my shows before I do, is the fact that people really care about what's behind the curtain and want to be inside real world business dynamic, but with all the emotion and heart and dream making that we do in the big ticket television world. And I think that's one of the things that this show combines, and it also is something that allows culture to be created. What's happening in America now is this show not only airs on NBC at 10 o'clock coming on this Tuesday following the Voice results show, but it also got picked up by E!, an entertainment channel within the Comcast group in America. It then got picked up by the Style Network because they thought it had a relationship to them. It then is getting covered not only in the arts and leisure section, but also in the business section, also in the fashion press, and then it's people wearing the clothes. So it's a real element. If we went from innovation being on American Idol, make a phone call and have a relationship to the show because you're getting to vote for somebody and you're one of those voters. Now you're getting to vote with your pocketbook and literally, as we say, wear the winner. And it's a really cool thing to watch start to bubble up and see touch multiple elements of the culture.
And Elle, you obviously are hosting the show, but also probably as importantly is exec producing the series. So that was something that you really wanted to get involved in, right?
Yeah, the executive producing part has been really interesting for me. I mean, I executive produce and host another program in the UK, and I have done three series of that. And so that kind of got my feet wet. And to come into America and to work with such powerhouses as Electus, 5x5, Magical Elves, and also NBC, to be, really producing and hosting has been a big challenge, but a lot of fun. And, I've had so much support because when we have these iconic mentors like Jessica Simpson, John Varvatos, and Nicole Richie, who are so funny and have this wealth of experience that they share with these young designers, and then you have these incredible personalities, which are the buyers, the retailers, Saks, Macy's, and H&M. A lot of dynamics on stage, 37 models, 14 contestants, fireworks, and 7 fashion shows. I think on our first episode we had 7 fashion shows. There's a lot of orchestrating going on, but it's fun. It's fun to watch. I haven't seen a program that has so many layers, from the mentors to the retailers to the fashion show to the models to the contestants to the music. And it's just really entertaining.
And those layers must have been why you wanted to get involved, because I'm sure you've been asked or involved with other series where they just say fashion, but the sort of dynamics.
This was maybe the 9th time I had called Elle, and it was the first yes.
Well, I love the combination of fashion and business and heart. And listen, I've worked for 30 years in the fashion industry. I can't afford to be associated with something that I don't think is going to be super successful. Yeah. And this program has proved to be as successful as I hoped it would be. And, I'm very proud of the work that these guys have done. I'm very proud to be part of this team. And, it's wonderful to know that we have sold so well throughout the world. It is a global product.
Because when I mentioned to people that I was coming to Cannes to talk to Elle Macpherson after people sort of were amazed. Most people said to me, as well as being a model, they know you from the lingerie line. They know, all
Yes.
of the women I said mentioned your business.
Business has always been very important for me.
And this is a sort of combination of the two.
It's a combination of the two, but we can't forget the fact that it's fun. And I don't think business has to be so serious, although this is incredibly serious because there's real money exchanging. And the other thing that we haven't mentioned is that all the clothes have been sold out within a few hours. So the model is working, the concept is working, people are buying into it, they're buying their clothes. You're seeing people walk down the street and the clothes are...
Real people are buying the clothes the next day.
Everything has been sold out.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
That must have been exciting.
It's cool. It's really cool to watch.
And Chris, as Elle points out, that obviously in the States it's on NBC and with those guys, but internationally you guys have done a great job selling it, both the finished tape of I think it was 75 countries, and as well as already people queuing up to remake it in their own countries.
Luckily enough, I came in and watched this show and saw sort of the ends of it being made, and was so impressed, with the creative and how well it was done, and the layering that Elle talked about. I think is so key. But what really jumped out at me, Peter, in my history sort of selling shows internationally, at its core, the simplicity of the shopping element is so universal, and that's really what it's completely global in that way. Everybody shops, and it's a totally unique idea, and the format is so different than anything else before it. But that is sort of a tremendous selling point, and we've done incredibly well. I mean, the finished episodes have sold in more than 75 countries in a fairly short period of time, given that we've only been on the air for a little bit of time, a couple of weeks. We're announcing today that we've added some additional territories to that list. So we've done the new news to announce would be that the finished episodes and the format will be with Network 10 in Australia. We've closed deals across Asia, both in Korea with CJ Media, both Latin America with the Fox International channels, then with Globosat with Brazil, even in French Canada with TVA. I mean, there are a slew of, I could go on and on and on. And the buyers, the community's response to the show has been so enthusiastic, because it is so relatable. I mean, I think we nailed down a tremendous format. I think, Ben, obviously, and Elle, but, in terms of packaging, there's sort of a, Ben's the best. So it's in terms of putting together a group of people, whether it be above the line in terms of the talent, or whether it be, and I don't even want to say below the line, but whether it be the executive producing team, are unbelievable and unbelievably strong, and everybody is seeing that because they watch the show, they see the reviews, and fundamentally it's just a fantastic show, and that's something that buyers are responding to. I've been thrilled with the response thus far at MIP.
And it is to that point, the bar that NBC, we went in, having Elle as an exec producing partner also means, because she came in from the beginning, that she went on the pitch meetings with us. So that's very helpful, by the way. She wore the same outfit and these shoes and this armband and looked just like the Greek goddess she is.
The best partner.
And that had some sway, even in the American networks. When Elle walked in the room, it kind of, our parking was suddenly better.
Buyers wanted to meet her. I was amazed.
New executives, the president was coming to a meeting that normally only the director level person was
willing to change their flights. We're so used to having to go to them. Suddenly they're like, oh no, we'll come to you.
So that was a very helpful participation and partnership. But the bar that NBC set for us, they had just put The Voice on the air, or were in the process of putting The Voice on the air when we set up the project. And they had correctly identified a new level of talent was prepared to get involved in these kind of shows and formats. And that the bar that had previously been set here are more born of kind of the real people that are in shows like the previous panel could go to another level. And with who they had booked in The Voice, they set out for us, we want to do this, but we want Jessica Simpson. and we want John Varvatos, and we want Nicole Richie. I'm like, well, don't tell them that. I need to have some wiggle room. How are we going to get this done? You know, and so it was that process of booking them that then gave it another level of momentum. And it was the kind of booking where Nicole would say, I'm not doing it unless I know John's doing it. And Jessica would say, I'm not doing it unless Nicole's doing it. And John would say, I'm not doing it unless Jessica's doing it. And are you sure Elle's hosting it? You know, and it was like, and of course my answer to all of them was yes. But, and they came together around
and then
the
make you a quick phone call.
Exactly. And we were able to, because of pre-existing relationships, bring all that talent together, who've been an incredible partnership. And then the next part was, we were talking about, okay, do we just make it like the shopping thing? There's kind of a, you know, like Deal or No Deal banker in the bank that you don't see, and they're kind of doing the shopping, and that becomes it. Or, you know, we were going through, I hear the Crease, or, you know, in America, our recession. And, you know, there was a conversation from Paul Telegdi at NBC about also wanting to encourage, you know, America to go back and be consumers again, and kind of get people in store. So he said, I want Main Street brands. I want brands you can touch and see on the main streets, because that's going to make this feel more real than some kind of abstract, you know, commerce play that we just run on our own. And so then the next bar he said is, I want Saks Fifth Avenue, Macy's, and H&M. Cut to our team flying to Sweden, and our group in Manhattan, and reaching out
P.S.
to...
I said he'd never get it done.
Did you?
Yeah.
And he did. I couldn't believe that he got those guys to sit next to each other. I mean, that's really phenomenal, because if you get someone like Confederated, where you have three people that really are under the same umbrella, and they're pretending to compete with each other, that we could have done. But to have three independent companies come together and actually sit and spend their money every week buying these clothes and compete with each other, I found really exceptional. And only this man here could have done that.
But and now we're seeing it as we're getting calls, not just from broadcast partners and producers and models. I asked Elle, I go, do you know these model in Brazil and here? You know, because wanting to come and you know, follow the kind of packaging format, but also around the world. You know, commerce sites and retailers are super interested in getting involved because they see the result, but also for the networks around the world. They didn't pay any money to be in this show. There's no advertising piece here. They are the prize, you know, and that's why the show is so powerfully aspirational, because it's a prize that John Varvatos, Elle Macpherson, Jessica Simpson, and Nicole Richie don't have themselves as major fashion brands. None of them are in all three of those outlets either, and that's our grand prize. So all of those pieces, which are clearly hard work, you know, have to coincide with the ambition of the network, who pushed us super hard on the heels of The Voice to reach for a level of talent and partnership that I think in a previous term would have been, you know, at a lower level and a lower bar, and probably would not have delivered in the way it has creatively on so many levels.
So when you take it out to the rest of the world, when you go to Australia, which I'm sure you're pretty pleased about, do you have to find not only the Elle Macpherson, the Jessica Simpson, the John Varvatos, you have to find the Saks Fifth Avenue, you have to find the H&M, you have to find the
well, I think there's different models in different markets. And,
exactly. I mean, I think Electus's model specifically, in terms of distribution, is finding the best partner all around the globe for that specific project. We're not, you know, as we've talked about before, Peter, we're not led by forcing sort of ideas through specific companies. So, you know, but fundamentally, what is excited, and which has excited me and excited us, is everybody loves the show. You know, everybody loves the concept, everybody loves the show, and everybody loves the format. And given that what we've done in the U.S., which is, you know, definitely, you know, such an unbelievable job of packaging, and that you have sort of Elle, who's Elle, and then, you know, obviously John and Jessica and John, you know, who've done this already. It makes it easier in terms of lining up those pieces overseas, because you have such a high bar in America, and, you know, Elle as such a fantastic partner, who obviously there are, you know,
people understand that when they see the caliber of work that we've done, they know what they need to do, and they're stepping up to the mark.
They are.
Would you be involved in any of the international ones?
She may.
She may. She may. And she'll be involved creatively across the board, and that's what's been really amazing, and I've never seen it, in my career thus far, to see, someone of Elle's caliber so wanting to be involved in the creative, in the international productions, so hungry to understand sort of what's going on and be involved. And I think that is where, the power of the show and the ability that it has to work everywhere, it is an ambitious project. We've done a tremendous job thus far selling it, but we're going to need to continue to see the process through, and having this sort of dream team together will make that happen. So we're already in the territories that we're doing the format. We have deals set up on the format in Germany, in France, in Turkey, in Australia. We're working in several others that I can't talk about, and all of them, as I said, they're strategically placed with the exact group that we believe can deliver for us, because that's the major. It's a special show, and it's a fantastic show, and so we want the best for it, and that's our job.
And we're very comfortable to roll up our sleeves and
do the work
and do the work alongside and help build the architecture, help demonstrate all of the metrics that are needed, and deliver partners in the manner we did in the United States, and also work in a smart way in local markets to iterate and adjust where needed, knowing that local culture, is specific to its own region as well. Yeah. And so are super excited. And actually the chairman of the Worldwide Retail Association is so invested in the show, because it really does drive people into the stores and into the main streets across the world.
The economy, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's exactly. And that's, I think, and that keeping those themes consistent throughout all the various versions is paramount. And it's Elle who told me, when we first met, she said, about the shopping, everyone shops. So that is something that we keep consistent throughout it. Yeah. And obviously we'll make the right changes, but to have Elle, who clearly has such a base, a knowledge base of the worldwide fashion industry, the worldwide shopping culture, to give us sort of, that guidance and to be so involved is something that's invaluable, and that we will, be using in our efforts across the world.
In terms of the actual production, it must add an extra layer of complexity of, once you film the show, once you've done the show, we've got to get these clothes out to the stores pretty quickly.
Yeah,
and you only filmed a short while ago, right?
Yes, and 6 months.
6 months turnaround.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we built the production with an understanding of how clothes were produced as well, which was right? Having Elle give us that input, and then in turn learning the retail business. As many of us who've worked in alternative television, we're now all experts in the restaurant business, because we do restaurant shows. We all know how to cook now because we do cooking shows. None of us can sing still, but there's singing shows. And so in this, when the clothes first arrived for us to inspect, to see how close they were to to what we had shown on TV, that was incredible. I will say to any of our Chinese partners here, everything is made in China, just so we're in the world, because that was something else we discovered not everything, but we discovered, in the pace with which people can turn around. We see this a lot today. We see this fast fashion. We see companies like Zara. We see a lot of these companies now kind of being able to condense production to meet trend in a way that didn't exist before. And what Elle and Chris and I discuss all the time around this program, this is a show born of its time, because without technology, without broadband, without commerce as a kind of thought process in terms of e-commerce for the global citizen, this show doesn't live or breathe. And without the ability to turn around and make high-end fashion quickly. My wife, after the first episode, fell in love with a skirt.
The skirt she wore last night?
Exactly.
Oh, she looks so good in it.
She is. Yeah. And so she thank you. So she, immediately, while the show was on, went on to to buy the skirt. And when it came, she's like, oh my God, it's like it's on the show. I'm like, that's the show.
So you can buy it online as well as in the store.
You buy it online that night, and that's where it's been selling out immediately.
To his point, by the time the
West Coast feed,
my fiance wanted to do it, and it was sold out.
That could get ugly.
So
exactly.
It was like Janae calling Jen and being like, oh, yeah, you got it first. You know, I mean, so there is that sort of fever pitch, around it. And I think, we've done so much of the hard work around
the
mechanics and doing something truly transformational that I'm encouraged in terms of thinking, about the way that we roll out the format, that we have such a great team, that we do know how to do this, and we're going to be able to, we'll pick the right partners, and we'll be able to guide those partners in it, and so that, obviously I think this went off unbelievably well, but our ambitions for it internationally are huge.
Because even bigger.
We've done, we did it, the first is always the hardest, no matter what you're doing.
It makes the format Bible a bit bigger, right?
Exactly, it does.
It makes it bigger, but I think this is really where it comes into play, and I think it comes into play as it speaks to all of us sitting up here. Our international relationships are very, very strong on all different sides, and this is a show that demands that. And we're excited about it.
Oh, sorry.
No.
The other thing that's perhaps not clear to a lot of people that are buying into the show is that the clothes are jeans and t-shirts and leather jackets. We're not talking ball dresses to wear to Cannes. We're talking stuff that people can wear every day. And so it's as much about trends as it is, the episode is about fashion. It's really about style and trends. And when you see those girls walk down the runway, the people at home can say, I love that dress, I can wear that dress, and if I do my hair like this and I wear those shoes, I'm going to look like that girl, and it's totally accessible.
It's accessible for
and
for
that's
the people
incredibly important today. I think people want guidance, but they also want freedom of choice, and they want to be able to express themselves simply, and this show gives them that opportunity to do that, so the viewers at home really can plug in and go, I can do that, I can wear that, I can be that.
and not just in sort of high-end boutiques.
Exactly, and I think
Mastige is really important to me.
Mastige,
And to Elle's point, in each episode, and when we look at the concepts that have worked so well on a broader scale, that they're all dream-oriented, as Ben was saying, talking about we don't have the ability to sing, but everyone who sings in the shower, they're all relatable. Do you want to give it a go?
We could go up the
exactly.
Up the
They're all relatable themes, and I think that in each episode of each show, you have, it's transformative, and it's not just about the finale. It's not just about...
Yeah, that is a really unique thing. One of the things, because we originally thought, should we make the show serialized reality competition with one winner, but wouldn't it be cool to actually create a show that also each episode had winners? And so that you have the ability to have a kind of close in. And I think that's why E! and Style picked it up to repurpose and rerun it, because there's a secondary life to these episodes that's really profound, because in each one of them there's a winner, and you can turn into episode 3 and be very satisfied if you missed episode 2, and you could turn into episode 10 as someone who's invested all the way along and get that massive emotional payoff because of how much your relationship to these characters has blossomed and grown. And that's a really cool hook in here that we haven't seen.
And that, from looking at it from a distribution perspective, from in terms of the international community and the broadcasters, that, and it relates back to what we were talking about earlier in terms of the strength of the format, is that it really is unique, really is different. And, the end of the show, obviously you'll have a winner, and the great part of it is that the winner will have to be able to design clothing for all of these different brands, which is a tremendous challenge to show their diversity and their abilities. But that in each episode, you're still seeing winners, and you're still seeing that moment that in a lot of shows only happens in the finale. And
it's a lot of immediate gratification.
Yeah, which we all
want, because we're all conditioned to have with programming as it is today. feeling, that you can be satisfied. Not only, and we have musical acts, we have fashion shows, we have
We
beautiful
noticed
girls.
on the trailer, there was motorbikes and explosions.
Yeah, we had all watched
LMFAO
those. Yeah, we had
last
watched
week.
the ratings on the Victoria's Secret shows, which really were explosive in the States, and we noticed a couple of the other fashion shows, which were more cable, they were like in a black room, and it was like someone coming out dressed in meat, and it like didn't really connect on a mainstream level, and was a really
I think that was Lady Gaga.
it was really, and it was really, or dressed in a garbage bag, but it was really too kind of too cool for school and inaccessible, and around a 0.01%. And here, we wanted to have that spectacle and that fun and bring the catwalk and what's going on with fashion shows around the world, which are now becoming kind of cultural icon. Fashion Week in New York, along with Oscar Week, are two of the fundamental underpinnings of the American pop culture calendar now. And so you're seeing that kind of convergence and integration of fashion and celebrity and Hollywood and global, and so all of that, trying to capture it, because everyone in this audience, everyone in this market, we all want the next thing. We're kind of seeing what's happening. We're seeing a lot of the big shows, including some that I was a co-creator of, slowly grow older. It's hard to get the same heat around series 18 on something, or series 9, 10, 11 on something. And so we're constantly pushing ourselves creatively and having partners like Elle, who drives us to innovate, okay, what can we do next? What hasn't been done? And that's the hardest thing for all of us.
Are you just glad she didn't wear the meat dress out here?
Oh my God. I'd be hungry.
I think for us,
hard dress.
As a company, I think that's why having Elle as a partner is also so amazing, is that she does think globally. And I think that that has been our core benefit since.
We'll get calls from Elle. I'm in the Middle East right now. Tell me about where the show is.
No, we did a meeting yesterday. They were this is perfect in every. I mean, it's completely there. I can't see anywhere where it
doesn't translate. It translates very well.
Yeah, and that's
even if we say so ourselves.
That's the key. And that's the key. It's a huge piece of it.
Right?
It's a huge piece of it for us. Because we don't just develop ideas. When I say us, I mean all three of us. We don't develop ideas just for the U.S. market. That we're thinking constantly globally, and that's and I think, in a lot of ways, this was born of that.
Yeah, we've had meetings and connections, with Elle in London, Paris, Cannes, Miami, New York, LA, Dubai, Australia, and that's her rhythm, and that's, I think, all of our rhythm in the global TV business.
That's a few air miles there.
Yeah, but not enough free tickets, babe.
We've heard about the show, and it's fantastic to have both guests. I just wondered perhaps if we've got a couple of questions from the audience. It's a packed room, so I wondered if there was a couple of people that might have some questions about the show. If there's anyone who wants to buy it out there, I'm sure Chris and Ben will take orders and do that. So if
I brought my pen.
Microphones around, if anyone wants to ask any questions.
We talk so much, I think we answered everybody's questions.
We'll take a question, or Elle can just walk to that music again. I don't know if anyone noticed that.
Well, we're going to start making you sing if you're not careful. Okay, well, I guess I can't see any hands up.
Everybody looks like they're satisfied.
But it's. I guess just to sort of to finish off, you're both here, and I presume as part of the promotion for this, Chris already mentioned 75 territories, but being here and being in Cannes, actually shows that international, actually being here shows that you mean it. And I presume the next, few hours you're going to be trying to get more and more people involved, right? That's what the name of the game?
Distributor's dream.
No, but
up and down the Croisette.
Absolutely. And I think, most importantly is, it takes hard work to innovate. And we're all people who are not afraid of the hard work. Mm-hmm. And I think that we're constantly looking for, and as Chris said, we built a model of true independence and true collaboration and true alignment, where we can find the right producers with the same shared ambition and the right broadcasters and networks who also have the appetite and ambition. And I think we just all have to kind of lift our own ceiling about what we think is possible today. I think we need to all be thinking more and more
Be
that,
courageous.
yeah, like it used to be, I want, and you know, for me on this show, it was like, I want an Elle Macpherson type was like a conversation where he was like, no, we'll get Elle Macpherson to do it. We'll go call her directly. And I think that kind of thinking across the board needs to really make the hits that we all need to kind of drive our television economy.
Yeah, well, great. It's been a fantastic session, and we've certainly had fun doing this, and the show looks great, and I hope it takes off in the rest of the world as well as it has in the US.
It has already.
Thank you.
Exactly.
We've been doing it only a short time, and it's, you know, we've only announced a bit, you know, that there's a lot more to come.
Exactly.
But,
so, guys, can we thank our panelists? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.